I'm so excited for this Her Opinion show because we have the one and only Cindy Burbano with us.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me, ladies. I feel
Yes.
like I'm here with my sisters.
I
We're
was
so
just going to
excited.
say,
I know.
she's our sister now.
I know. And we are going to talk about something that's very dear to all of our hearts. And one of the things that I feel like it kind of connected us all together is about our nonprofit. And it's about the You Have a Purpose nonprofit. So I know that we have been talking about this for many months and it finally came to fruition. And it's something that all of us have some kind of connection with.
Correct. And I think it's important for everybody out there to see that we are good in all of our different aspects. And your podcast or me on the radio, on the television, we do all of our stuff and we help other people. But it was very dear to our heart to be able to help women. I think domestic violence, and you hear a lot about it, and not many people feel free to be open about it and talk about it, and they're embarrassed and ashamed. But I think it's good that we got together and we said it's time to put a stop to it and to talk about it, because there's help out there and there's something that we can do when we join forces to be able to help others, so that they not necessarily go through what we went through, but if they're in it right now, you know how to get out, or if you start seeing the early signs of it, so that you're not stuck in that relationship.
For sure. And you have such a big platform. And that's one of the things that a lot of these ladies, they hear other people and they think, oh, they have such a perfect life.
Yeah.
You know, they would never go through what I'm going through. But they don't know that it happens to even people with big platforms. I mean, they don't talk about it, but it does happen. And people, you know, no matter what is there, who they are.
Socioeconomics, it doesn't,
Yeah.
it doesn't stop with race. It doesn't stop with who you are, what you do for a living. And I was kind of growing up, I heard about domestic violence and we learn about it as we grow up, and you always think it's not going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I didn't come from a background of domestic violence. A lot of the statistics show that women that end up in these bad relationships see it at home, see it with their parents, or see it, whatever in their environment. However, I didn't see it. And because I didn't see it, I feel like I didn't have the tools to recognize it at the beginning, to be able to navigate through it and get out of it in time. It took a lot of years of going through not only the physical abuse, but it was the emotional abuse, the verbal abuse, because there's a lot of different ways.
For sure.
People think about domestic violence and they think, oh, it's just because, they got hit or they got, it's a physical thing. But no, I mean, it can mentally affect you in so many ways. And that's why we're here, because it's a time to bring awareness to other people, to other women, and they're not alone. Don't be ashamed. It's not your fault, because a lot of the times they make it seem like it's our fault.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that we met when we met, because if you don't know, me and Jen had this foundation. We started it and we had a purpose there. We wanted to do it. But when we got with you and we met you and we realized that we had this in common, and that it was like we were just in our place, our purpose of like, this is passion. This is something we were passionate about. We were like, no. She needs to be the president. She obviously, because of your platform, who you are, what your background was, it just made sense. And when we came together, I was like, I just felt it in my soul that it was meant to be. And because divinely we got put together. And it's like, really?
It was really funny because that day when it was at the Nightcap.
Yeah, we met at that. I was
Nightcap,
and I was filling in for Carolina.
Yeah,
I wasn't even supposed to be there. It was a call last minute.
Yes.
Cindy, can you come in? And I do that for her. And I'm sure, let's get that. And the minute we sat there, it was an immediate connection.
And it was about single moms.
Hey, it was
single
my
moms.
only time I was on the Nightcap. You've been there like 8 times.
Oh my
Girl,
God.
we gotta get you back on.
About my non-existence dating life. But
Hers
you know
is
what?
more entertaining.
Every time I have gone on the Nightcap, I have met somebody
that
was supposed
but
to.
had
I was
to
supposed
do
to
with
meet
this nonprofit, like had to do with something with domestic violence or anything. And I love that you bring the fact that a lot of people only think that's just a physical thing.
Yeah,
because when you think about it, because I didn't have parents either that that I never saw that domestic violence, and like you said,
You did have parents, but you didn't.
I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't have parents that went through that. I do have parents.
You didn't grow up with that
I didn't
environment.
grow up with that,
Yeah.
so I didn't really know how to really, identify it.
Yeah.
And whenever it did happen to me, because I think about it, and I don't want to talk about my past exes, but you think about, you're like, I was. Like emotionally, I didn't even think about how much I was abused. And it bleeds into your relationships now.
Yes.
It bleeds into your relationships now and also into the relationships you have with your children. And that's why it's so important to stop it at the root so that we don't teach our kids. In fact, the reason why, I became a single mother was exactly because of that. I don't ever want to teach my child that a man is supposed to treat you this way. And I have a little girl, and I kept thinking about it, and I said, it hurts my heart and I don't know how I'm going to do it. And many times financially, you're like, I don't know how to leave. Who do I ask help for, and this and that,
or just talking about it.
Yeah.
Because we're embarrassed. I mean, you guys don't have it coming from your parents, and I come from generations of it. And which
is also very hard to break.
Yeah. So when you you think I'll never be in that.
Right, because you saw it.
Yeah, because you saw it and you witnessed it, and you'll say, I'll never. And then you find yourself in that situation, which is crazy because it doesn't matter. And if it's not physical and it's mental, and you think, my parents weren't abused, there was no abuse, mentally,
emotionally.
We come from cultures that the way the husbands talk to the wives, and as children, we hear it and we think that's normal. That's normal. That's the way people are supposed to talk. And then we don't sometimes go without the affection because we think that it's normal not to have affection.
Right.
And I think this is crucial
talk about it because she tries to date people. Not talking TMI,
like, right?
But she's like, stop touching me. But you know what? It's funny because I'm the same way. My husband is very in TMI. My husband is very like that, touchy-feely, and I'm like, I don't mean to be cold towards you, but it kind of has something to do with the way that it was before.
Yeah, well, there's something that triggers, and there's also something that doesn't allow you to accept to be loved. I think at one moment in my life, I realized, and I was in the relationship with the man I am today, and he asked me one time, and it kind of just took me up. He says, why don't you let yourself be loved? I don't get it. Yeah. And that's when it clicked. And I said, wow, I didn't even know I was doing that.
And I struggle with that myself.
Yeah. And you don't allow yourself. And when it's too much, it's great, but then it's too much and I can't handle it.
Yes.
And you push it away.
And you get scared.
Yeah.
You get scared without thinking about it, or it's your defense mechanism or protection.
Correct.
Because you think, but if I get too deep and this becomes,
you're vulnerable.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that is the trigger, and that is that one moment when you don't want to be vulnerable because you've taught yourself to be so tough and to be so resilient that the moment that you're vulnerable, it equals that you're weak.
Yeah.
And it's not that, because when you actually trust someone and you give them your heart and you're able to be vulnerable is when you're able to really feel that true love. But it's hard for us to get there because we've been so hurt.
Put on someone else because of your past.
Correct.
That person is going to be that same way. These are all things that we don't heal from. We have traumas, which connects us, right? And which is one of the reasons why this foundation makes sense. And it's so important for us because maybe you do come out of a situation, but you don't heal. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe you need workshops.
I took years of therapy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still healing till this day and being like, wow, the epiphany of like, I never thought of that, or I didn't realize that. And who did we have to talk to? Who did we have to go to? And now we see we met each other. We're meeting more people. We go to places and it's like, wow, there's a connection there. There's a connection there. There's so many people doing these great things, but you don't know about it.
Right. And I think the other night we had met a lady, her name's Carolina Cloud. wonderful lady. She has her nonprofit for abused women, African American women, and she spoke to us about something that we weren't even aware of. She has this mobile clinic. It's like a van that comes to these homes that rescues these women and takes care of them. These are the type of nonprofits, and these are the type of assistance that we need to put out there for everybody to know that it exists here in Houston.
Yes.
There's another extreme too. I mean, we have the ones that, emotionally and things like that, we don't have to get away from it. But there's people to that extreme that they are going through it every day and they have absolutely no idea how to even, and they do it like hiding from whomever their spouses, whoever they are
The
with.
biggest problem, and we talked about this with Carvana, was that you think I'm going to call the police and I'm going to get help. And the police aren't. They don't.
help.
They're not. I'm not saying.
It's
I'm not saying, but it's unfortunate that they may be like, "There's nothing we can do. You have to go back home."
To the point where you're actually in danger for your life for them to do
and
something.
you need somebody. Do you need medical attention? But you can't go to the hospital. Do you? I can't. He can't find out.
Exactly.
I need to do this, and that mobile unit is amazing for that. Like, I have a friend, she's she needs medical attention. I can't take her to the hospital. Boom. Okay. Here's this.
I think that's also a great point that you mentioned. You know, I have a friend, I have a sister, I have a cousin. It's also important for us as just women in general, community in general, when we see this happening, to also speak up. A lot of the times they'll don't tell anybody. I'm just telling you, I'm going through this. Please don't say anything to my family. Please don't say, we're keeping it kind of quiet. And it's not that you're betraying them, but you're saving their lives. And sometimes they don't know when to get out. And it's our responsibility to say, you know what? My friend is going through this. I see her with the marks. I see her crying every day. I see her with suicidal thoughts, depression, and so on and so forth. I need to do something about it because she can't save herself. Let's save each other. And I think when
even if you lose the friendship, you saved that person.
Yeah, you didn't
I mean,
even
you
lose.
won't
They'll
in
see
the
it.
long run.
In the long run, they will see
they'll
it.
come back around. They'll understand that you saved them. But it's better than to get the call that you lost them.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. That's sad. It's worth it.
I think that you have a purpose, this amazing nonprofit that both of y'all started a couple of years ago. And I'm so blessed. And you say that you're so happy to have me. I'm so blessed to have you guys, because for the longest time, I do a lot of philanthropy work around the city, and I have for the past 20 years. But this is something that's very dear to my heart. And I was given this opportunity, and the Lord put us in the same position, in the same moment. For it. It's not a coincidence.
No,
it was the right time. It wasn't maybe before, but today it's the right time for us to help other women, to help other people, to spread the word, to show them. With our nonprofit, we want to not only empower women, but give them the tools. And one of the things that we had talked about was the self-defense class. And I think that's something that Nunu, share with them. I think that's great.
So we are going to be doing a self-defense. We're checking it out for you guys first. We are doing a self-defense class, and we are going to find out everything that needs to be done so we can host our own and that we can have women come, because I don't care if you're going through a situation or you're not. In these days, we need to know how to defend ourselves. I agree. And powerful defending yourselves, because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm good, I have a gun, or this or that, a knife, whatever. You normally sometimes don't have that when you need it. You need to know how to use these hands.
Your body.
Yes, exactly. And these are some of the things that we want to do. This is the purpose of why we have this foundation.
And not only do they have to defend themselves, but maybe they have children. And for me, if I'm going through that,
and children need to be in these classes.
Absolutely.
The first thing are my kids. Like I literally, I wouldn't care about me, my body. It's my kids.
Absolutely.
What I have to do to defend them. And I think these classes
I think we talked about this on the Nightcap. And one of the biggest things is that we don't think about, but when you are a child in an abusive family or whatever, the child automatically wants to defend
the mom,
the parent that's going through, the brother, the sister, whatever it is. And a lot of times we're like, just leave, or get out of here,
It's so easy to
say.
The
trauma that you put on that child to not know if somebody's going to hurt my parent is so hard that these kids need the defense, the tools, you know, at the same time. How do they deal with it? Because it's the parents like, we got to live in this. We got to deal with it. And I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Who's addressing the kids?
And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because that's also something that we spoke about, you know, going into schools. Remember, abuse, we sometimes think it's, you know, a marriage when we're older. No, a lot of the times these girls are being abused as teenagers, you know, and because maybe, you know, that boy or that girl see it at home and they think that's the way that you act in a relationship. And dad hits mom. So that's what when she doesn't say, or I'm not okay with whatever, then this is what we do. So also teaching and giving the teenagers and these younger ladies the tools to recognize it at a younger age, to not allow it, because it does become a pattern. So maybe you had the abusive boyfriend when you were in 11th and 12th grade. You go to college, and maybe second year of college, you meet this other guy, and now I'm in this abusive relationship, and I don't understand why I continue down this road. It's like they look for me. No, we have to make the decision as women. We choose the man, okay?
Yeah.
They can all be there. There can be 10 different types of guys. We need to know how to distinguish these signs, how to choose the right men that are going to give us our place, the respect that we deserve, the same that we should give them as well, because it's not just one-sided, and then how to navigate life and control our emotions.
And I think that's something that we would love to do. And I think at this point, if they can get DARE into the schools, then we can.
When we were kids,
then we can do that same
They
situation.
scared the hell out of me.
Yes,
they don't know, but they scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I never tried a drug in my life because I was so scared of my brain being fried on a pan.
Okay, well they didn't scare me
that was me.
But the drug scared me. Okay,
even the frog kissed me. I don't smoke or something.
Yeah,
like,
but I mean, we see
that
this.
was a thing. Absolutely,
these are slogans. These are big things that come across, and this needs to be in schools. This needs to be in schools. There needs to be an awareness. There needs to be someone they can talk to at school if they're a friend is going through it. If somebody's going through it, I think that is a mission that we need to set,
and to have,
we need to. If it's not everywhere, it needs to start in Houston.
Yeah, and it needs to start with you have a purpose.
Exactly,
okay?
right.
So
and for them to know who to contact, for us to not, you know, because a lot of them say, well, if I contact them, they're going to make a big deal. Police is going to come, but to do it in a way that it's kind of like secret. But at the same time, you're giving them
what we call confidential.
Yes,
exactly, confidential.
Because a lot of times girls are mentally abused.
For sure.
And if you tell anybody, if you do this, I'm going to tell all the school that you're a slut, or you're whatever.
Or I'm going to hurt your family, because there's a lot of threats.
And then you're bullied. And then in your area, in Manville, I remember you told me they had a huge thing with trafficking out there.
With trafficking. They had a whole trafficking scheme in Manville High School. Yeah. It's on the news. Hey, it's on the news. So all of that happened without anybody knowing that it was going on, and it's such a small town, like outside of Houston.
But maybe that's also why they didn't talk about it.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you know, it's like keep it hush hush.
It's easy to be out there, grab some kids, and go. Yeah, you know, I mean, but all of these things, I don't know if they are now. I don't think so, because my son never talked about it. When I was in school, none of these things were brought up in school about being aware of this, being aware of that.
Well, they thought about it in a different way, because a lot of people, she sleeps around with everybody, or they characterize it as a wrong way, you know, and a lot of these women have been abused or whatever. They're, you know, trapped, you know, by force to do all of these things, and they don't know.
Sure.
And that's the thing, that these kids think, or she's this or that, and they give her a bad name, but it's really something that's
But I think it needs to be addressed and some kind of class, or like, you know, where they're telling you what to look for, what to look for. That's what we're saying. Is that it has to be.
We have to be more present, and I think that's what we're going to do with our foundation. We're going to be in the community. We are, you know, we're 3 strong women, or us, you know, we got each other. We support each other. One day you might be weak. One day it's me. One day it's you. But that's what it's about, this sisterhood. And it's not just in this room, but hopefully everybody out there, you have that friend, you have have that sister, you have that cousin.
Yeah.
Have that sisterhood. Don't lose it. I'm here for you. How can we help? How can we move around? I saw these girls doing this podcast. You know, they put the number there. They have this foundation. Let's reach out to them. And you better believe it that we will find a way.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Whether if it's not with us, it's people that we know. We are very, we know a lot of
very
people.
connected.
We're very
Yes.
connected, and hopefully that's going to bring a lot of light. But I'm extremely proud, and I am honored to be
Thank you.
sitting on the board with
We are
two
honored.
amazing women. And I know that
And
this
growing.
is absolutely
Yes.
And growing. We have more
Yes.
women coming.
Yes.
If you're out there and
And you want to be part of it.
Yeah, I wanna
Absolutely.
reach out to us.
Absolutely.
We would
Yes.
love to have you.
We need lots of help.
There's no number too big for
Yeah,
this. This is
sure.
for everybody, men, women, anybody who wants to be involved. We would love to speak with you, talk to you. We will be having an event coming up. Our first event will be promoting it around September, but it will
in
be
October.
launching in October.
Yeah.
So obviously for Domestic Violence Month, that would be important to us to
But
launch our
we
event.
are doing little events here and there. So on the Her Opinion show, we will be promoting it, and also on the You Have a Purpose,
Foundation. Yes. So if you want to find us at You Have a Purpose Foundation.
and Cindy too.
Yeah.
Yes,
We'll be promoting
please.
.org.
Cindy
there.
Burbano
.org.
TV,
Yes.
cindyburbano.com, you name
Yes.
it. We're there. And I'm proud to be a part of it. And now everybody hopefully is
Oh,
going to
for
be
sure.
more aware.
Yes.
And they can
Yes.
join our purpose.
Yes. And I'm so excited
Yes.
for this. And I
Cheers
can't
to
wait
that. Yeah.
to
Woo,
actually
cheers to
be an
that.
impact for women.
Exactly.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
See you next time.